Guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to talk about the evolution of the iPad. Some of us, what the heck would you want to talk about it? What's so interesting? And I'm gonna answer this. Here is a picture that I'm gonna pop up, and it's from the Apple Spring event that has been confirmed from Apple to be on 7th of May, 7 a.m. Pacific time. And if you look at the picture, you can see an Apple Pencil, which means Apple has confirmed there will be an iPad announced. But which one? Or maybe all of them? If my memory is correct, the last iPad 10th generation and the 6th generation of the iPad Pro were updated in 2022. Yeah, it was so far ago, but not as the iPad mini and the iPad Air. The iPad mini, we keep talking about it. We want an update. Imagine an iPad mini from M1 to M3. This will be great. But will it happen? We don't know which iPad, but we're gonna have one, that's for sure. And I wanted to look at every iPad, compare the latest generation that we have with the first ever one to see how much they have evolved. Because if we go through every single generation, it will take us days. There is so much that we can talk about, but we just like to see, like, look where it started and where we are now. Like, people love the iPads, and believe it or not, in the tablet market, Apple is dominating. For some reason, creators, editors, and so many people just prefer to have an iPad. Even students, when it comes to taking their biology notes or any other subject, they just love the iPad, no matter which one you have. And this is why this product, specifically the iPad, is the star of our video. So let's see how the iPad has changed over the years. I think it's fair if we start talking about the first iPad that was introduced to us in 2010. And believe it or not, yes, we had an iPad back then. Here we've got a pop-up picture. This is what the iPad used to look like. Nothing compared to the iPads we're used to seeing currently, but wow, we're talking about 2010. It had the A4 chip taken from the newest iPhone. The screen, aka the display, this was 1024 to 768, which means it was 4:3 aspect ratio. We had 256 megabytes of a memory, 1 gigahertz of CPU. This is what it used to be, 1 gigahertz of CPU, even though it feels so weird saying it right now. This is what it used to be. And the storage was from 16, 32, and 64 gigabytes has maxed out. Even though now it feels like this storage is not enough, back in the day, it was. It was enough. So compared to the iPad now, here I got a bubble picture. This is the latest iPad, the 10th generation. The screen of the previous one was 9.5 inches. Now we have 10.9 inches. It has the A14 chip taken from the latest iPhone back in the day. Also, we have 6-core CPU, 4-core GPU, we have 16-core neural engine, and it can shoot 4K videos. Yes, it has one single camera, but it can shoot 4K videos. Do you think on the first generation that was possible? People had no idea what 4K was. This is why the max out was 64 gigabytes, because 4K, even HD, wasn't invented. And thanks to that, we didn't need that much storage. And also, this was one of the cheapest iPads. Well, since it was the very first one, it was priced at $499. But with the coming of more iPads invented, the price of this one fell down a little bit, mostly because this is an entry-level iPad. You know, if you never had an iPad, you don't know how to operate with it, you can get this one, you know, to train a little bit before you actually get a real iPad. But despite that, people still prefer this iPad because it's cheaper and they can do their normal daily tasks on this one. So technically, even though it's used as an entry-level training, people use it as daily devices mostly because of the price. And it also supports the Apple Pencil, so what else do you need? Next, we have the iPad mini, and it was called the mini for a reason because the screen and the size of the iPad was smaller than the original one. So here is how the very first iPad mini used to look like. We had it in 2012, yes, 12 years ago, we were introduced to the very first iPad mini. The screen was 7.9 inches, but it was so influenced by the original iPad. So we have the same storage options from 16, 32, and 64 gigabytes. It had 5 megapixel camera. Bless it. So this is okay, like comparing what the iPads can do now. Well, they're not that different. Also, the screen was still the same. It was 1024 to 768 aka 4:3 aspect ratio. So pretty much, as you can see, they were really influenced from the original iPad. Let's just say that they shrink the size but kept the same characteristics. Also, back in the day, like the evolution of HD, 4K, like better camera quality, like multiple cameras having in the same device, that wasn't invented yet. So let's look what the current iPad mini looks like. Here is a picture of it. This is the latest iPad mini, the 6th generation. It has 8.3 inches of a screen, so it hasn't been that bigger since then. Also, we have the A15 chip, which has 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU, and a 60-core Neural engine. The camera has been updated from 5 to 12 megapixel camera, and it can shoot 4K videos. Yeah, basic characteristics are leveling up with every single iPad. But the question is, will the iPad mini now have one of the M chips, or they will keep adding the iPhone chips? This is a very interesting theory that we would love to see if it comes true or not. Some people believe, oh, it will be the M1 or maybe the M3. No, they'll keep adding the iPhone chips. Which one it will be? We don't know. But there are people who use iPad mini for a specific reason, and I'm pretty sure they'll be very happy if it gets updated. So as you can see, throughout the years, we didn't have that many changes with the iPad mini. Next on the line, we have the iPad Air. The one that I'm stuck with it for 2 years is the iPad Air Gen 4. And I have to say, I'm very glad about it. I don't plan to upgrade, mostly because of the task that I'm using it. It doesn't need an upgrade. They're just very simple. I just take notes all the time. That's it. I don't think you need the best of the best iPad for taking notes. Maybe for editing, for, I don't know, playing video games, maybe. But for my case, no. But let's look back at the very first iPad Air. Here I'm gonna pop up a picture. This is what it used to look like. It had 9.7 inches screen. It had A7 chips. You can imagine how old this is. We're talking about the iPhone chips. Again, A7 chip. That's it. It had 5 megapixel camera, like the rest. It had, you won't be prepared for this, 1.2 megapixel FaceTime HD camera. That was so cute. 1.2. It's like a baby, literally. Like when I hear these numbers, I'm like mind blown, because look what we have now. 1.2 megapixels. Like, and it can shoot 1080p videos. So we had HD videos with the iPad Air. Good job, Apple. Yes, people find it useful because it was very light, and when they're carrying it around, it's not that heavy. But let's jump to the present and with the next iPad, which is the current iPad Air, the 5th generation. The size has been improved from 9.7, we jumped to 10.9 inches of a screen. Also, now we have the M1 chip. We're jumping in the M1 family. So it has 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, 16-core Neural engine. Also, we have 12 megapixel front-facing camera, and we have center stage. If you don't know what it is, basically when you're doing conference calls or just testing the camera, wherever you move around the room, the iPad will follow you, which is a very useful thing. I don't have it on the current iPad. Also, I don't think I would use it, but it's useful to know that it's there. Also, you can shoot 4K videos now. So as you can see, all the iPads are evolving to 4K. All of them have liquid retina display. So pretty much they are evolving, and they start to look like each other a little bit more, just like they did back in the day, but with some upgrades. The last iPad, the latest to talk about, is the best iPad that you can get right now, and that is none other than the iPad Pro. This is the very first iPad Pro. It was 12.9 inches, and people's reaction were, this is huge, it's like I'm having a computer in the palm of my hands, literally. It was a massive device because people were used to the size of the other iPad. Comparing the iPad mini with 7.9 inches to 12.9 inches of the iPad Pro, like, it was a significant jump, specifically if you go from mini to a Pro, but people were doing it. So this iPad had A9X chip, a little bit less from the iPhone chips, but not it had only one single camera, which was 8 megapixels, and it had 1.2 megapixel FaceTime HD camera, and it can shoot 1080p videos. Compare it to the recent iPad that we have. Here is how it looks like. This is the 6th generation. It has liquid retina display. It has the M2 chip. So it was getting the latest chip when it was introduced. It has 8-core CPU, 10-core GPU, a 60-core neural engine. It has 10 megapixel ultra wide camera, 12 megapixel wide camera. Also, it can shoot in 4K videos now, ProRes, and it has 12 megapixel front facing camera used for conference calls, shooting videos. Also, it has center stage, just like the iPad Air. And again, center stage is just the iPad following you around if you are new. But it's still 12.9 inches. But comparing the difference, first of all, now it looks more modern, more elegant. Of course, the iPad design starts kind of to look like each other. So, as you can see, when the 10th generation of the regular iPad was announced, it looked a lot like the iPad Air, and many people were unboxing the iPad Air. Nobody, you do not have the iPad Air, you have the regular iPad. But of course, the iPad Pro has something that no one else has. First of all, the storage is up to 2 terabytes, which you can get on any other iPad, which is amazing. And people know if they get 2 terabytes what they're doing it for. But we started from 1.2 megapixel front facing camera, the baby, to 12 megapixels. So what I would say is like they're adding a megapixel each year, maybe, but this is not the main reason why people are using their iPads. Okay guys, that will be the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below, do you have an iPad? And if you do, what iPad you have? And what is your favorite activity to do with it? I simply bought mine to take notes, and this was the most exciting thing because I have tested it out only in the store. And I thought, oh, it's so cool, I want to have it for myself. Now that I do, I'm like over it a little bit. Sometimes I still like, I want to write to pretend like I'm writing on a notebook or something. Yes, it has a lot more features than a regular notebook. The best thing for me is that I can just click undo and erase all my mistakes, because in regular notebooks I was just scrapping around and sometimes even through the page, which was not ideal. But struggles were real back in the day. Now we have these amazing iPads that we can use for every purpose. Which one do you choose? The mini, the Air, the regular, the Pro? Your decision, your money. Just choose the one that fits your perspective the best. And also, like, depends on what you're gonna use it for. But that will be the video. Hope you enjoyed. Please smash that like button if you like this video. Share it with friends. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Turn on the bell so you'll be notified whenever I post new videos. And I'm gonna see you next time. Bye!